Hi guys! So I wanted to do this video and it's all about me. Yes it is. And I thought it'd be a fun tag to do. So this is a tag yourself. If you'd like to do an all about me video too, leave a comment below and leave your channel, link to your channel, and you can do one of these videos too. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about me. Because why not? I know a lot about me, right? I'm an expert on me. So anyway, I started this YouTube channel. It was actually a little over a year ago. I made one video and then I kind of lost my nerve, and it's like, no, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. But then I gave it another go, so I think that was like maybe last March. It was in last spring sometime. And I decided I really liked it. I was having fun. Part of the reason I started doing it was to sort of leave a legacy for my family down the road. And you know, someday one of my grandchildren or great-grandchildren, if YouTube's still around, might want to see what grandma or great-grandma was up to. So not only that, but I wanted to share some of my experiences. I've lived a good while now, so there are a few things I know. I don't know everything, but I love to learn, and I'm always trying to learn new things. So, but the things that I have learned, I wanted to share. So that's why I started my YouTube channel. But anyway, a little about me. Okay, I'm 69 years old, and I'll be 70 on 9/11 actually. So that's a date that most people remember, and that's my birthday. So I was born in Cologne, Germany. My parents are German immigrants, and I was born there too, but I've lived here in the States for 65 years. But I did go back several times by plane and by boat to visit my grandparents. And the last time I was back there was in 1979, and I took 2 of my 3 children because my third one wasn't born yet. So, and we spent the summer over there with my grandma, and actually both grandmas. My grandpas were gone by that time, and they got to meet my 2 little boys. So, and my mother went along too, so that was a nice trip. So I had to write some of this stuff down so I don't forget anything. What I eat plant-based. I wasn't always plant-based. Most of my life I was an omnivore. I ate pretty much everything. And then something happened, and I totally became aware of the ethics of the meat industry. Not to get on a soapbox here, but I just couldn't eat meat anymore. So that was about 7-8 years ago. So I haven't eaten meat since then. I did eat fish for a while, so that's pescatarian. But then I was never a huge fan of fish. I liked it okay, but I stopped eating that too. So now I'm strictly vegetarian. Mostly I cook vegan food. I buy a lot of vegan foods, but I do eat eggs, and I do occasionally eat cheese. So vegans don't eat any of that. So, but I very little dairy. I don't drink dairy milk, or like I said, a little cheese, you know, sometimes sour cream or something like that. But if I have the option, I will pick the vegan version of it, or plant milk or anything like that. So that's how I became vegetarian, and that's what I've been doing, and that's what I'll continue to do the rest of my life. So I do love to cook, and when I do cook, it's almost always vegan, unless, like I said, there's a recipe that calls for eggs. But even then, sometimes I'll veganize it and use a flax egg. So I have a cookbook addiction, and I have tons of cookbooks, and I had tons more. But a couple years ago, I purged all my cookbooks and got rid of the cookbooks with a lot of meat-based recipes in them, because I really didn't use those at all. So I started collecting vegan and vegetarian cookbooks, and I really have a ton of cookbooks, and I have to stop myself from buying cookbooks. And I just like to read them. You know, it's not like I make every recipe in there, but I like to get ideas. I like to learn about cooking, and so I read them, and I love looking at the pictures of the food. I think it's a lot of fun. I also have a clothes addiction and kitchen appliances. I probably have I have a ton of kitchen appliances, and when something new comes out, it's like, oh, I want to have that. So that's another thing I need to be mindful of, but I can get really carried away with those things. I'm doing a closet purge, and I'll be posting that video tomorrow, and you can see what I mean about my clothes addiction. So, but I don't buy clothes much anymore, but I did when I was younger, and you know, when I worked, I bought a lot of clothes. So I was a hairdresser for 30 years. And then after that, after I got divorced, I went back to school and I became an RN, and I did that for 20 years more. So that's pretty much my career. I did have my own little business for a while where I sold jewelry and my paintings, and I'm actually thinking about getting back into that, and I might, because I do enjoy doing that. The jewelry that I made was glass fusing and beading and, you know, those sorts of things. So I may do that again. I love beautiful things for my home, and that's something else I need to put the brakes on, and I have, but my style is sort of eclectic. I like rustic. I like old world, I like shabby chic, and I like boho chic too. So those are the things that I sort of gravitate, and I have all those elements in my home, and I really enjoy decorating. It's something I always liked, and I like things to look pretty. I don't like just, you know, oh, this is good enough or that's good enough. So I like things to coordinate, even if there are different styles, like a color or something needs to be, it needs to coordinate. So anyway, let's see. I looked this up online, and I've actually had a lot of people, well, not a lot, but a few people ask me about my income, which I'm considered low income. For seniors, it's no more than $30,000. So, and I'm not up there, you know, so I do live on a low income. And so because of that, I've had to really had a shift in my shopping habits, in my food habits, because I was used to making more money as a nurse, and so I've really had to adjust, but I find it fine. You know, I don't feel like I'm struggling. I don't feel like I'm poor. In fact, I like to make a game of it. And I'm a bargain shopper anyway, even when I was a shopaholic, which I was, and I still can be if I let myself. But, you know, I never went out and shopped for high-end things or, you know, I was always looking for the bargain. So I never really pay, well, rarely pay full price for anything. So that's kind of the way that I shop. So, but sometimes I do get bored with things, you know, if I have a room that, you know, I like to switch it up or, you know, get some new home decor, but I'm not doing much of that anymore either. What I'm doing now is switching it around in my home. It may have been, oh, there's that bug again. My dogs let a stink bug in. I'll be It was a stink bug. My dogs brought it in. Anyway, I put him outside. He needs to go. So where was I? Okay, I was talking about income, and anyway, for seniors, anybody $30,000 or less is considered low income. And I think I read that 40% of the senior population is considered low income. So, but anyway, like I said, I don't consider myself poor, or I don't think of myself as poor. So anyway, moving on. All right, I semi-retired at the age of 60, which means that I went to work PRN, that means as needed, in the facility where I used to be a nurse. And they would call me up when they got behind and say, oh, can you come in and, you know, fill out this, it was called a minimum data set, and that's what I did. I didn't do hands-on patient care. I did more the paperwork and submitting to the government for payment from Medicare and Medicaid. So they would call me up and I'd go in and I'd help them out. So that's why I say I semi-retired at age 60, and then I retired at age 62. And let's see. All right, before I retired, obviously as a nurse, I made a decent living. You know, I wasn't considered poverty level or low income then. So I knew I wanted to retire. And what I did was I figured while I had the income, I went and bought everything that I thought I would use or I could use. So, and I went a little crazy. I did. You know, I went a little overboard because there's a lot of things now that I thought I would need that I don't need. So I just go round and round my house and, you know, purge things and donate things or, you know, sell things or whatever. So, but that's what I did. So that now enables me to live a little bit better lifestyle because I have everything that I need. So that's what I did before I retired. I have 3 grown children, 2 boys and a girl, and 5 grandchildren, and 3 dogs. So, and I had 4 dogs at one point, but my one little older dog, she passed away a couple years ago. And I've had cats. I love animals. I've always had animals, and hopefully I will always be able to have animals. So, but, and I've lived next door to my best friend for 43 years. And when I moved, she moved too. So, you know, we just kind of stick together. And we've been great friends for 43 years. So I've been blessed to have my mom for almost 70 years. And she's 90 now, and she lives independently. She has her own home. She's great. You know, she's sharp as a tack. She's relatively healthy. You know, she gets little issues here and there, but I've been very blessed to have my mom my whole life. And my dad, he passed away in 2003, but I had him a long time too. And I had great parents. They were just wonderful parents. And I always had everything I needed emotionally. And, so yeah, I couldn't have asked for better parents. I've been married twice. The first time, he's the father of all three of my children, and he and I are still very good friends. He and his wife, they were friends of mine, and we sort of all, we're just one big family. So that's another area I've been blessed in. There wasn't a lot of drama all of the time in my family. So I've been very blessed with that, and I'm very thankful about that. My second ex-husband and I, we're actually still together. We're not married and we don't live together, but we've been together for a long time, 13 years. So we're still together. But anyway, I have to laugh. My grandson's staying with me because his mom and they're having a house built, so they're staying with her husband's parents, and he doesn't want to stay there, so he's staying with me. So he's upstairs, and he just texted me that he's going to take a shower because he hears me making a video. He's so cute. I love that guy. Anyway, back to my story. I was talking about, oh yes, my second ex-husband. So we're still in a relationship together, and he's the fella that we spend a lot of time at the boat in the summer, and we have a lot of fun together. So that's the way it is. So anyway, I'm very much a homebody. In the winter, I could become a recluse. I'd be more than happy to stay in my house all the time. But I'm not a big party animal, although I do like to go out and socialize. But I'm also very much of a homebody, and I can be somewhat of a loner too. But I do enjoy people a lot. But I kind of like a balance of both. So I love to organize things, and I'm constantly organizing something in my house. I'm rearranging, I'm purging, I'm arranging again, and I just go round and round, and I've been doing that for a long time. And like I said earlier, I bought a lot of stuff when I was still working, and now I'm finding I don't need everything that I bought, but some of the things I'm keeping and some of the things I'm not. So, but clothes-wise, I need to really purge a lot of those things, and I'm going to be making more than one video about me purging my clothes because some of them really have to go. So my hobbies are, I love to paint. I do some fine art. I'm pretty much self-taught. I did take a few art lessons from a fellow that is an artist, but most of it I've learned either online or, from books. And with when you're teaching yourself how to do these things, I like to learn from different artists. I love Alan Kingwell. He's also an artist. He has YouTube, and also Johannes Vloothuis. He has a YouTube channel and he paints. But I find that as an artist, you just take everybody's style and you sort of combine it and make it your own. And so that's kind of how I've learned. And of course, the wonderful, I'm such a big fan of Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross, and I love his demeanor and his style. And so, yeah, I mean, Bob Ross is still one of my favorites, even though he's passed away, for a long time. So I really enjoy that. I do fused glass, and I make jewelry out of that. And I haven't done any in a while, but I'd like to get back to that too, and get back to making my jewelry, because I have a whole craft room full of beads that really should be made into beautiful pieces rather than just sitting in little cubby drawers waiting for me to come and do something with them. So a couple of my other hobbies are decorating. Like I said before, I love to decorate, redecorate, redo. I used to like to do DIYs, but that's getting a little difficult for me because I have arthritis in my hands. So I don't do a whole lot of DIYs anymore, but I do like to do, make wreaths and for the door, things like that. So I do like doing that. And gardening in the summer, I love to garden, and of course cooking. So those are pretty much my hobbies, but I'm always up for finding a new hobby that I enjoy. I'm thinking about taking some photography classes online, or maybe at a senior center. I'm looking into that. So that's another hobby that I think I would enjoy. I've always liked to take pictures, but I don't really know a whole lot about the workings of the camera, and I don't have a real high-end camera. So maybe someday down the road I will, and I love making videos, so I'm sure that will be helpful as well. So I'm, I don't know what you would call it, like a reformed or recovering shopaholic, because I wasn't always a shopaholic, but when I was younger, I was not. And I would say probably up until I was maybe 40, I was not a shopaholic. But something happened. I don't know what it was, but I started to shop at that point, and I'm sure it was to fill some need, whether it was, security, or I always had that thought in my mind that I want to take care of myself, and in case I need something, then I'll have it. So anyway, but of course, shopping too much isn't good for the budget. So now I'm all into the frugal living, and I actually love it. I think it's fun. I mean, a lot of people will probably, go, it's not fun. But I find it a challenge, and I like making a game of it. So this year, I am challenging myself to do a no spend, low spend year. And it's not totally going to be no spend. I mean, I'm not in dire straits, but I do have a couple bills from my shopaholic adventures that I need to pay off. And then I also had cataract surgery, and I upgraded the lenses, and that was another $4,000. So there's some things that I want to pay off. In my life, I've owed money, I've been debt-free, I've owed money, I've been debt-free. So I want to get back to the debt-free lifestyle. And then I want to put money into my vacation fund, and I want to put money into my Christmas fund, and it can be done, even though you don't make a lot of money. Now, I did make sure that I paid off everything before I retired, so I don't have a whole lot of payments other than, the general bills, but I want to get back to that and not have to worry about paying off a bill. So 2020 for me is going to be no spend, low spend, and I'm going to be very mindful of what I buy and very mindful of food shopping, because I used to average probably for myself, like $400 a month on groceries, which I think is kind of ridiculous, but I could make much better use of that money and still eat healthy. And I will continue to eat healthy, but you know, I don't need all the food that I have stored, even though I will always have a little bit of a prepper pantry, and I'll keep my freezer stocked, but it's just I'm kind of living off of what I bought before, which, if that makes any sense. So that's my goal for this year. Now, when I do shop, I love a bargain. I rarely pay full price for anything, and I really enjoy getting a bargain. And if there's something that I want, I'll find it, and eventually I'll get it. But if it's something that is $300 and I feel the price is ridiculous for whatever the article is, I won't buy it. And I'll wait until I find something similar, or you know, if I can find it on sale, you know, whatever. But I hate sales. I never go to, oh, you know, we're having a 50% off sale where you've got 100 people standing in line. No, I don't like that. So, but I keep my eyes open for anything that I think I might need. I dislike routine. I can't stand a routine. I've never been a routine person. I know that works great for some people. On Monday they do this, on Tuesday they do that, and that's wonderful, and they probably get way more done than I do, but that is not what I like to do. I like variety. I'm a very spontaneous person. Sometimes even if I plan something for a day, like, oh, today I'm going to, you know, wash my floors, and if somebody calls me up and says, oh, you want to go to lunch? It's like, yeah, sure, you know, the floors can wait. So I really hate routine, and I really like a lot of variety in my life, and I've always been that way. So that's what I do, you know, I just fly by the seat of my pants. So I've always been blessed with good health, and but 5 years ago, I had a tumble. I was carrying my cat carrier to the vet, and I stepped back and didn't realize there was one of those car stops, the cement stops, and I didn't know it was there, and I went to close the door to the car because I had the cat carrier. And I went to close it with my hip, and I stepped back, and my legs flew up, and I landed right on my spine, and so I fractured a vertebrae, and that my back hasn't been right since. Before that, I never had a problem with my back at all. In fact, I was always very strong, and that just kind of started like a little bit of a downhill trend. And then 3 years ago, I was in my living room, minding my own business, channel surfing, standing in front of the TV, and my dogs started to play. And one of them ran by me and hit me, knocked me sort of off balance. And then the other one went right behind, hit me again, and I flew up sideways and landed right on my right hip, and I broke it. So that didn't help. So that was sort of another little bit of a downhill trend there, because I've always been very active. And now not so much, because if I do too much, my back flares up, and then I've got arthritis that flares up, and I've got fibromyalgia that flares up. But other than that, I'm healthy, and I'm happy, and I just work around it. So, you know, I'm not ready to give up, and I just work within the parameters of what I can do when I can do it. All right, I don't have anything else to share with you. If you have any other questions, you can leave them below. And I'd like to get to know you too. So if you have something you would like to share with me, I would love that. Leave me a comment below. Also, tag yourself down below, and feel free to share your channel's address, and maybe we can all build on the community. I would love that. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I can't think of another thing. So, oh, I did want to say a big welcome to my new subs. I'm so happy to have you here, and I appreciate everybody that watches this channel and comments and the interaction that goes on. I think that's wonderful. I love that. And to my subscribers that have been with me since the beginning, I really appreciate you coming back again and again. And you have become my friends, and that's a wonderful thing. So without further ado, I will say adieu, and I love you guys. I wish you abundant blessings, and I'll see you next time.